And hello everybody, welcome to the Hartnell section of the running journey. Hartnell is a very, very pivotal part of my running journey. I would not have become the runner, I would not have become anywhere near the runner I became if it weren't for Hartnell, okay? That cannot be emphasized enough. King City got me started, but Hartnell turned me into actually a bona fide runner and helped me develop skills that made me into what I believe a valuable asset to Merced. We'll talk about Merced when we get to Merced. But Hartnell turned me into the runner I believe I need to be for Merced. Okay. But if it weren't for Hartnell, I would not have had as nearly quite the extensive running journey I became. If it weren't for Hartnell, I would definitely not have ran at Merced. Excuse me. And if it weren't for Hartnell, I would not have gone to continue the King City Boys saga. Okay, so before I talk about the 2 cross-country seasons I had at Hartnell, 2021 and 2022, I'm going to first do a little segment on just why Hartnell was special, because just ask the Merced team. They will tell you I never shut up about the school, okay? Hartnell and King City, but especially Hartnell, okay? So, for the sake of the Merced team, and then also the world, let's talk about why I never shut up about them. It's actually, believe it or not, because of King City. So let's go into that before we go into just the running. Alright, so yeah, the people. The people are what made Hartnell special, okay? Now, anywhere is special because of the people. Like, people are going to make or break your experience, be it roommates, teams, workplace, yeah. But here's what made Hartnell specifically about the people. Like, the people are what really made Hartnell special. First off, it's going to go back to why I even joined the team, okay? I think I did talk about this a little bit in the last video. Let me talk about why I even joined Hartnell, okay? So, it was 2020. I thought my running career was done. I had no cross-country season. Mario Avila, my good friend and teammate from King City, he says, "Hey Josh, I ended up talking to the Hartnell coach, and he's been trying to find you to try and recruit you. Funny thing, my Instagram is not my name, so a lot of times people have especially that time when I was not a heavy Instagram user, people had a hard time finding my Instagram. So I was like, oh, he is? So I remember I sent him an email. Then there was no response. I said, hey Mario, I don't think he got my email. Could you send me the recruitment link he sent you? So I filled that in, and once I filled it out, I said, Josh, let's talk. So I had a Zoom call with him, and I hold the record for the longest Zoom call he ever had for a recruitment call, which is very fitting to those who know me, and based on the length of these videos, you can probably guess why that was the longest recruiting call he ever had. But, I had a good shot, and I decided, you know what? Yeah, I'll be a Panther. And here's the main reason why I decided to do it. One, it felt nice that a coach was looking to try and recruit me. That was special to hear. But then 2, what helped also was that I knew Mario was going to be there. My friend Daniel Correa, who was class of 2019 and ran up with on that 2018 team at King City High School, was already there, and he was going to be staying for a COVID year. Esteban Denise and Ricky both committed there their senior year. So I was like, oh, this will be cool. I could run with the King City Boys again, form a whole new legacy. That'd be awesome. So I was like, why not? Why not be a part of that? And then there were 3 other King City runners that ran Hartnell too. I'm sorry, 4 King City runners. I know 2 of them personally. I don't know the other 2. But Willie, Edgar, Wallow, and Jesus. Okay, I only know Edgar and Willie by reputation. But Wallow and Jesus, they all were there, and I was like, then very successful runners, and I was like, this could be cool. I could be a part of a big King City legacy. And here's something I pride myself on. Of all those guys, I was the slowest recruit out of all those guys, so I also was like, this could be a chance for me to really try and be one of the top guys, and I kind of was excited about that, I'm not gonna lie. I used to have some motivation. And I went in, so King City, just that alumni backing, and then also my own teammates being there was really special to me. And as you'll see in the video, we go down in history as the King City Boys. It's kind of in the name, but five runners from two successful teams in high school, and then form some successful teams at Hartnell. Pretty special. So that's the first reason. Two, the alumni. The alumni at Hartnell is very strong. You know, Zepeda, all his assistant coaches are previous athletes he's had. They all come back and they always say how Zepeda helped them become not just athletes, but give them a chance in the future. So I met so many alumni. One of the alumni that I really look up to personally is Diego Leon. I think he's a really good guy and good person, but great runner there. I'm probably gonna butcher his last name, but Al Nazer, I believe is how you pronounce it. Oscar Mora, Justin Crasha, who is probably the most helpful assistant coach I've ever worked with. He ran every workout with me and cheered me on every step of the way through, and just was a really good coach. So Justin, big shout out to you, and we'll talk about you more later. George Sanchez, another big alumni. Felix Cervantes, he was there too. Like, Hartnell's alumni is very strong, and they all talked about Zepeda to help them out with running and life in school. And I was like, and I remember my first summer runs there, I was like, whoa, people are loyal to this community college running program. This is cool. And there were a few times, like, I was like, I don't see the hype. We'll talk about it later. But once I left and, and I really got to experience that breakthrough that they all talked about, I was like, you know, I see why people love this place. And, you know, I'm going to be a champion. And just ask Merced. They'll tell you I never shut up about it, okay? And to all my Merced peers, I'm sorry they had to deal with that, but thank you for still accepting me and going with it. In the case of Derek, finding a way to make a fun inside joke of it. Anyways, but really strong alumni, and that they always kept coming back and supporting the next generation. And I really admire that. Then lastly, this is my favorite, okay? So remember how I told you how King City was the top dog of Monterey County? We won PCAL League 2 years in a row, and to boot, since it was the first 2 years of PCAL League, we won every single center meet. So the first 2 years of PCAL, King City went undefeated in it. That's A. B, we won section 2 years in a row, and then we went to state 2 years in a row where we were 4th and 5th. So of those two successful teams, you had 5 guys from those two teams, go to Hartnell. All our teammates were the schools we used to compete against, okay? And I can't tell you how many times me and my friends went through old photos of like, oh my gosh, wait, that's you in your Watsonville uniform. Oh, hey, that's you in your Alisa. Oh, hey, that's you in your Soledad. Like, I showed like maybe 2 or 3 in the King City retrospective videos between cross and track. But now you're about to see a whole bunch. Like, we literally, like, all the people that we used to go toe-to-toe against, we were now teammates with. The way I described it, I was like, guys, if it was a TV show, it'd be like King City is the school against all others, but now a bigger threat has come, and now they must team up with those they once with those they once considered enemies. Okay, not that it's not like we wanted to slaughter it, but we were always like, we're King City, we're gonna be here. But now we were no longer King City, we were now Panthers, along with all the people we used to run against. It was really cool. And it's like, so now we went from dominating Little Monterey County as King City High School Mustangs to now helping the rest of Monterey County as Hartnell Panthers dominate all of NorCal. It was like a totally epic crossover. It was totally cool. And that was really special, that I got to talk with all my old rivals, and they used to tell me things like, oh yeah, when we learned that so-and-so's coming, we were like, oh shoot, we got it. And I was like, and I remember I learned from some people, it's like, I was feared, that's crazy. Then from other people, like, oh, I didn't know you existed. And then there was people that too, but then I got to learn a new perspective. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. And that was honestly really special to me, that like all the people I used to run against that were some not all, but that were faceless runners were now people that had me, and I was able to learn more about those different meets that I ran in high school. I was like, that's so cool. So that's really what made Hartnell special, guys. And then lastly, and this is strictly speaking to King City High School, with all our new former rivals now turned allies, we managed to have 2 successful years at Hartnell, some of Hartnell's best years ever. And of those 2 years, 5 of those runners were King City High School Mustangs, who had 2 of the best years ever at King City High School. So we kind of we gotta live through 2 golden eras, and to do that with the King City Boys was really special, along with all of Monterey County. So to anyone who ever wondered why I don't show about Hartnell, that's why. And hopefully now with this retrospective series I'm doing, you're about to see all that play out. So now let's go into 2 seasons of cross country at Hartnell. So with that, let's go. Alright, here's the good news. Unlike King City, where there was, technically 3 seasons of cross country, Hartnell's just 2. Okay? So the bulk of the video went to talk about why I really liked Hartnell. It was the people. But now it's gonna be just about the season. So I think they should be anywhere from about 10 minutes each. So let's do it. So 2021 cross country. It's funny. The 2 cross country seasons I had at Hartnell were very reminiscent of King City High School. So 2018 is to 2021. So at King City, we took first place every single meet except for Stanford Invite, State, and Mount Sac. But in 2 of those 3, we made podium, which was 2nd and 3rd at Stanford and Mount Sac, and then 4th place at CIF State. Okay? At 2021 Hartnell, it was a similar thing. Every single meet we had, we won. Okay? Because there's so many memories that are coming back now. Our first meet, Tour de Cuesta, we had 10 Hartnell Panthers in the top 14, and the top 14 were what got medals. Top 10, literally, won. Top 10 and top 14, that tells you the victory went to us. NorCal Preview, we got first place by 1 point, and our main opponent, similar to how Scotts Valley was the section opponent of King City. The NorCal opponent, which NorCal think that is the equivalent to section in high school, our main opponent was American River College ARC Beavers. We beat them by 1 point, and this was, oh my gosh, it was so much fun. You'll see a little video of the guys tossing it. But before that meet, the coach said to the pay, says, hey, after the meet, after the NorCal Preview, you guys can come over to my house and swim in the pool with the team. And I read Pay and said, all right, team, come on. Let's win and make sure that we swim in their pool being victorious. We won by 1 point. And then we got to swim in that pool at the American River College. And it was totally awesome that we got to do that. But we literally won by 1 point. And that was we won that meet. Then it was... I don't even remember what the next race was. We had Crystal... Oh, no. You know, we had then the Chabot Twilight meet where we all ran track 5Ks. A personal one for me. By the way, personal one from Tour de Cuesta. I got a medal my first ever invitational, and that was really special. And I don't have the medal right here right now, but I got my first ever college medal. I was like, wow, this is so cool. I got a college medal. I didn't think this would ever happen. And... then at Chabot Twilight, remember, I was a 10:33 2-mile guy in high school. I remember my first ever track 5K, I think at 16:06. And who was I right behind? Mario Avila was 16:04. And I was like, oh shoot, I'm on par on the track with Mario Avila. That's crazy. And it was special to really just see that. And I was like, I've progressed so much already. And keep in mind, 16:06 is 5:12 per mile, I think. In high school, I was 10:33 guy. That's 5:16 for 2 miles. And now I'm holding 5:12 on 12 and a half laps instead of 8. First 8. So I'm like, oh my gosh. And that was special. Then let's see. We won Toro Park Invitational with flying colors, top 7 and top 14. We then run Crystal Springs, and that's a... Oh, by the way, one thing, the courses are 4 miles instead of 5K and 3 miles in community college. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. Then at Crystal Springs, we didn't have our two of our top runners compete, Isaac and Eli. And they didn't have medals that meet, but of the top 14, literally 12 of them were Panthers. Top 12 finishers, or 12 of the top 14 finishers that invite were Panthers. But then where we really made some noise was Mount Sac. And the Mount Sac, this was crazy. Okay, 2021, we went to Mount Sac. We ran. And at that race, Hartnell took first at the Mount Sac Invitational for JUCO. That never happened before in Hartnell history. It was really special. We're like, oh my gosh, we won. And Zapaya was happy. He's like, yes, that was the first time Hartnell's ever won the Mount Sac Invitational. So we were on fire that season. And then after Mount Sac, it was then, here's the nice thing about Hartnell. We didn't have that many meets, so that's why I'm able to keep track of this, okay? We then go from Mount Sac, and I believe right after Mount Sac, it was then, Coast Conference. Alright, the way Coast Conference, so in high school, I talked a lot about that I was never an all-league guy. Well, I remember I told Zapaya that a really big goal of mine going into Hartnell was I want to be an all-conference runner because I was never able to be all-league in high school. I remember run our conference meet, and it's at Toro Park, okay? And that was the other thing. You know, I'm talking about all these courses. Mount Sac, Crystal Springs, Toro Park. I ran the high school versions of them, but 3 miles and 2.95 and 2.93 respectively. I'm now running the community college versions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I get to legit see how much better I can do on the longer version of the course that I ran in high school. And I ran way better. Like, my Mount Sac time was 17:12, which was like barely sub 6. I think it's like 5:54. On the 4 mile version, I managed to hold 5:45 pace. So basically what Oscar and Mario Calderon did for the high school Mount Sac course, I was splitting in my 4 mile. And it was so cool. I keep, like, that's all what made Hartnell special. Like, I just really got to build upon King City with my King City teammates. So anyways, now back to conference. It's at Toro Park, the 4 mile version, okay? A modified version. Important later why I mentioned that. We then run, and I remember I was like, I'm going to run as fast as I can, get that. I managed top 14, get all conference. I snagged one of the last all conference spots to get 13th place, and I still have it. To get 13th place, and then I got presented this at the banquet. We had 10 runners, get all conference. And to start off the conference, and to start off with a conference win of the season, or of the decade, since we didn't have one in 2020. And I was like, oh shoot, so I now am a guy who never got all league, get all conference. And then to boot, that race, I ran 21:41 for the 4 mile course, which is about 5:25 for 4 miles. In high school, I was a 16:30 guy, and that's 5:30 per mile. So I'm like, I'm now faster for longer than I ever was in high school. And it was so special, and especially that day, it just all came together. And then, now, I was not top 7 that season, okay? That should be a hint of how next season goes. But, we then, the top 7 run NorCal, and oh my gosh, okay, to get all NorCal, it's top 14, similar how all conference is top 14. Hartnell runs that day, and at 2021 NorCal, all 7 guys get all NorCal or all region honors at the NorCal meet, securing a first place finish. It's like the second lowest team score ever in NorCal history. It was a really special day to be a Panther. And I remember Zapata was actually crying. He was like, oh my gosh, that was so amazing. Thank you. Like, it was great. So 10 guys get all conference, 7 guys get all NorCal. Okay? And it was great. And every single race up to that point was first place. State, won't lie, we did not get first. We did not get second, but we got third. One guy All-American, 2 guys All-State, and I will give a shout out to my I want to give a shout out to 2 of my teammates, Bemon for getting All-State, and then also Daniel Correa for getting All-State. Okay, 2 KC guys were in that. So Ricky would have been all conference that season, but he had an untimely injury. But 4 KC guys were all conference, 3 KC guys were all region, 2 guys were all state. So King City was right in there. It was so great. And I was actually really especially proud of Correa. I make fun of the guy a lot to his face, but I actually do have a lot of admiration. He was the only guy of us 5 that ever got toe-to-toe with Pemon in college like that. Like, I will always give him some eternal respect for that. And, like, Correa, whatever I do say about you, I will always give you props for your All-State finish in 2021 cross country. You legit did earn that, and you got that, so props to you there. So I will say that on video and record it, okay? Because I also know you do appreciate that. Anyways, so had all that, and Hartnell ended out as 3rd place, and that was the first ever time Hartnell placed at state for the men's team. And, you know, I'm just talking about the men's successes. The women, too, they won conference, they won NorCal, and they took 2nd in state. Like, that was their 3rd time being 2nd place at state. So, like, the women had a really good season, too. But the men, oh my gosh, like, 2018 was one of the best seasons ever for King City High School. For Hartnell, 2021 is, to my knowledge, the greatest season that Hartnell has ever had for the men's cross-country team. I could be wrong on that, but I believe so. And you know, it's really, really awesome that I gotta be a part of that. And I just saw the similarity, and I remember similar to Calvin said, Calvin, all you saw, I say, these teams did this, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna get either the same outcome, if not better. Cepeda, he used to say the same thing. He says, guys, I've had many successful teams win conference, win NorCal, go to state. Highest we finished those 4th. We want to do better. Here's how we're going to do it. And we always promote that. And then we just won so much. 2021 was just a goated year for cross country. And me personally, too, I not only was a part of the team success, like, I really felt more in the team that season than it. And it's not that I didn't feel like I was part of the team. The guys include me in everything. I had a lot of running, but, like, getting the all-conference, getting the invitational medal as a varsity runner, running that conference race where I may have been the 9th finisher overall, but being in that it just felt so real, and I just felt like I was in it. It just felt so great. So already first season, we get all conference, we are 9th finisher for the team, part of a Coast Conference win, and then that will go down as one of my best cross-country seasons ever, honestly, in my entire history of running. So 2019 I've already mentioned is one of the best. 2021 is one of the best. So 2020 was a really special season. We just were a part of so much, and like, one thing I do want to give actually a really big shout out to on Cepeda. I really started doing the Hartnell albums that season. I will give this Cepeda supported those albums so much. So Z, I do want to say thank you for that, for really supporting those. But yeah, 2021 was just quite a time. That's what this quarter zip is. If you look, 2021 conference champions, NorCal champs, and then 3rd place state team. So 2021 was a special time, and it was great. And 2022 was special too, but in a different way. So I'm now going to go to that.